the president of this seminar, Comrade E.P. Jayarajan, fellow panelists on the seminar, Comrade D. Raja, General Secretary of the CPI, Shri Karnapalli Ramachandran, Comrade M.V. Govindan Master, and comrades and friends. It gives me great pleasure to be here today in this seminar on challenges to secularism, which is being held in connection with the 23rd Congress of the Communist Party of India Marxist. At the outset, I must say that I am disappointed to see the absence of one of the panelists who had been announced for the seminar, that is Dr. Shashi Tharoor. I have seen the statement issued by Dr. Shashi Tharoor regarding this matter. He has said that he felt this is an important subject in a national seminar being organized in connection with the All India Congress of a national party, the Communist Party of India Marxist. And he felt that it was necessary for him to participate in this seminar, because he said on the question of secularism, his party shares the same views as the CPIM. But he also said that his party leadership in Kerala and the AICC leadership have asked him not to attend the seminar, and therefore he is not able to come here to Kannur. Now, this is one of the problems which we have to discuss. On the one hand, everyone who is secular-minded, everyone who is democratic-minded in our country, say it is of the utmost importance that all the secular and democratic forces unite to defend secularism, to defend democracy and defend federalism in our country, which is under severe attack. But here is a national party, the Indian National Congress, which prohibits its own leaders from attending a seminar on which such an important issue is being discussed and debated. Why they have done so is not for me to explain. It is for them to explain. But as far as the people of Kerala are concerned, I'm sure this stand of the Congress leadership is going to further damage their credibility and image among the people. Because irrespective of what differences we have in Kerala, the Congress party may have so many issues of differences with the CPIM and the LDF government here. But on the question of secularism, such a basic principle in our constitution, when that is under attack, where is the question of having a difference? So, I would like to further proceed on this subject only after making this observation. I would like to just make some points which I think are relevant regarding the serious danger and threat to secularism in our country today. For us, secularism is something which has developed as a value to cherish from the time of our freedom struggle, because it is in the fight for independence that we emerged as Indians, irrespective of religion, caste, language or region. And it is the national struggle for freedom which brought together the diverse peoples and bound them together as Indians. And that is what found reflection in the Indian Constitution, which was, as you know, adopted in 1950. And there are articles of the Constitution which state clearly that the state has no religion, the state does not prefer any particular religion, and the state-run or state-funded educational institutions cannot have any religious instruction. And all citizens are equal, are treated equally by law, irrespective of the religion or caste or gender they belong to. So this is the fundamental premise of secularism. Though it is a fact that after independence and the Constitution being adopted, subsequently over the years, this principle of secularism has been distorted, has been misused by successive governments at the center. But the basic fundamental principle of secularism finds its place in our Constitution. Now we have in the central government a party, the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is run and controlled by the RSS, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, which is an anti-secular party or an anti-secular force, because the BJP believes in Hindutva, which is the shorthand for establishing a Hindu Rashtra in the country, which is the ultimate aim of the RSS. So with such a party in power and with the RSS controlling this party and the levers of power, we are seeing a process of desecularization of the Indian state and a process of installing majoritarianism, that is the majoritarian religion, as the dominant ideology of the state. This is the fundamental challenge or threat to what is the secular principle in our Indian state and constitution. There are two ways in which the RSS and the BJP have embarked on this project of desecularizing the Indian state and society. The first is that they are utilizing their state power to bring in laws, legislations which are anti-secular, which go against the very principle of secularism. Now in our country, in the BJP-ruled states, we have seen a succession of laws and legislations which are giving primacy to the Hindutva ideology and understanding. which are anti-minority, which delegitimizes the minority citizens and denies them the rights given in the Constitution of being equal citizens. You can see how that is working in your neighboring state of Karnataka, where a series of laws are being passed. Already some have been passed, some more are going to be passed. The anti-conversion law, which is called the Freedom of Religion Act. Under the freedom of religion, the rights of the minorities are denied. Interfaith marriage gets criminalized. And the right to propagate one's religion, which is a constitutional right, that is denied to the minorities, whether they are Muslim or Christian. The same Karnataka has now, as you know, passed rules and regulations which outlaw the use of hijab by girl students in educational institutions. The same Karnataka government has passed laws which have denied the minorities the right to eat the type of food they want to eat through the ban on cattle slaughter, meat trade, etc. This has not happened only in Karnataka. This has happened in Uttar Pradesh, in Madhya Pradesh, in Uttarakhand, in Gujarat, of course, where it all started. So, in nearly half the states of India, already there are laws passed through the legislature where equal rights for citizens has been undermined. And the minorities are being treated as second-class citizens. And this is done by law. So this is one process which is being undertaken by using state power. We saw how the central government passed the Citizenship Amendment Act, which makes, for the first time, introduces a religious criteria for citizenship. So this process of utilizing the state institutions, the legislatures, the administration, to push through laws which privilege the majority community's religion and delegitimizes or criminalizes the minority community's religious and cultural ways of lives. This process has begun and is proceeding apace. So at this national level, you have the Modi government, which openly patronizes, finances Hindu religious places of worship. You saw recently how the Prime Minister himself inaugurated the Kashi Vishwanath corridor connected to the Kashi temple. The funds for that came from the government, the state government. And the inauguration of that was done as a state function. Just as the foundation ceremony of the Ram temple at Ayodhya, in which the Prime Minister participated, became more or less a state function. So here, step by step, the state is openly patronizing one religion, the practices of that religion, and funds those activities. There's nothing more anti-secular than this, because the basic conception of secularism is the separation of the state and religion. It is not that the state can intervene, patronize any religion, whether it's the majority religion or the minority religion. The state has to be separate from religion. That has been completely given the go-by today. The other level in which secularism is under attack or being destroyed is among the people. At the ground level, the RSS and its outfits, the various Hindutva outfits going by various names, they are targeting the minorities, attacking their livelihood, preventing them from carrying on their trade and other occupations, and making it clear that they cannot be treated as equal citizens of this country. Today there are parts of in some cities in Madhya Pradesh, like Indore, where Muslim traders cannot enter to sell their goods in Hindu localities. They have been driven out, beaten and assaulted and driven out. And the police will lodge cases against them, not those who attacked them. There are places where Muslim auto rickshaw drivers, if they go into Hindu localities, they are attacked. This has happened in many towns and cities in Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. And because a large number of Muslims are there in the meat trade, they are the butchers and they sell meat. In many places, they are prohibited from carry on their trade. So it is an attack not only on their democratic rights, it's an attack on their livelihoods to prevent them from living as full citizens of this country. So this is happening in a large scale in parts of northern India, in western India, and now in Karnataka. And the traditional interrelationship between different communities, whether Hindu or Muslim, their social and cultural relationship and ties are now being disrupted and destroyed. So both at the level of the people and at the level of the state, you are seeing that a full-scale onslaught is there against secular values and to destroy the secular fabric of our society. We should not see this attack on secularism in isolation from the attack on democracy and the attack on federalism in our country. If India has to be a democracy, it has to have secularism. If India is to have secularism, it has to be a democracy. They are interconnected. What the Hindutva ideology says is that majoritarianism, we are a majority, therefore our rule should be there. And that is democracy because we are the majority. What they do not say is that in a democracy, every citizen, irrespective of their religious affiliation or background, should be equal. Because in democracy, unless there is equality between citizens, there can be no democracy. Majoritarianism means there is no democracy because everybody has no equal rights. And without equality and fraternity, as Dr. Ambedkar said, there can be no democracy. So today, the attack on secularism goes hand in hand with the attack on democracy and the establishment of majoritarian rule. That is why, to defend secularism, you need to fight for democracy and federalism, because in a vast and diverse country like India, you cannot have an authoritarian unitary state. You need to have a federal setup in which all the different states, in all their variety, will have a degree of self-rule and autonomy. Even that is being destroyed by the Hindutva authoritarianism. So the fight for democracy, secularism and federalism goes hand in hand. And it is this fight against the Hindutva corporate regime which must be waged, because it is, on the one hand, the Hindutva forces, and on the other hand, the big corporates, the big bourgeoisie of our country, who have allied together to impose this Hindutva authoritarian anti-secular regime. So this fight has to be carried out, and it has to be an uncompromising fight. That is, you cannot say we'll accept some partial form of secularism. We can have 50% secularism and 50% Hindutva. Now, the Congress party must answer this. Why are they not taking a firm stand in defense of secularism when they claim that they are secular? Recently in Gujarat, the government there declared that the Bhagavad Gita will be taught in schools from class 6 to class 12. As part of the syllabus, Bhagavad Gita will be taught. That announcement was supported by the Congress party, the main opposition party in Gujarat. They thought if we oppose this, we will become unpopular. So you will see in all the BJP-ruled states, in Uttar Pradesh, in Madhya Pradesh, all these places, whenever the BJP government takes a stand, they'll say they'll promote Ramayana. So the Congress party and the opposition say we'll do better than this. Their manifesto said we will start Ram Katha trails all over Madhya Pradesh. The Gehlot government said we'll set up a Vedic studies board to promote Vedic studies. So they think that we cannot counter these people by taking a firm secular position, so let us adopt a soft Hindutva stand. This is not going to help fight the Hindutva forces. They'll only gain further strength. So that is why I say it requires an uncompromising fight, struggle to defend secularism. And that example has been set here by the LDF government in Kerala. The first state government and assembly to pass a resolution against the CA, the Citizenship Amendment Act, was in Kerala. Then some other states also followed. So here in Kerala, the government, the LDF government here, will not adopt any policy which will discriminate against citizens or people based on religion, caste or creed. That is the type of firm resolve we must have to defend secular democracy. But unfortunately, there are still some secular parties and forces who are not able to take this firm resolve. That is why it is very necessary for the left parties, for the left forces of this country to take the lead. To not only, it is not a defensive battle to defend secularism. It is a struggle to rally all sections of the people, to struggle for their basic rights, their economic rights, their livelihoods, and at the same time, in that process, build the unity of the people, build the unity of the working people, which will act as a bulwark against the anti-secular Hindutva forces. So I hope that in the coming days, as far as our party is concerned, we are going to give priority or importance to the fight against the Hindutva communal regime. That fight means carrying on the fight against the neoliberal economic policies of the Modi government and combine that struggle with the struggle to protect secularism, the struggle to defend democracy, and the struggle to defend federalism. So this is the challenge we have to meet, we have to undertake, and I'm sure with the unity that we can forge of all the left democratic and secular forces, we will succeed in this task. Thank you.